Okay, we're on. Aloha, everyone, and welcome to the Gentlemen with Cocktails. All right, woohoo! I'm one of your
Hello,
hosts.
ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yeah, there we go. We're starting with the shit show, but I'm one of your hosts, Gregory Wells, aka Handsome Cobra, and I am joined by my co-host, Chris Schwartzlander of
Chris
the famous
Schwartz.
famous Chris Schwartzlander tripping over reality saga.
Creator of the Tripping Over Reality universe.
There we go. So what's up, man?
Multiverse.
How are you doing today?
Just another beautiful day, sir. I'm well on my road to recovery. I should be walking on my own soon. Last time you saw me, which was what, Thursday?
Friday.
Friday. I was hobbling around on a cane, and today I've managed to put that cane up for most of the day, and I'm back on it now because I'm a little sore, but we're coming right along. Starting to climb stairs like an actual person now,
Yeah, man.
which is nice. Yeah, instead of crawling up it like a human centipede.
Oh.
Oh,
Have you seen that movie?
dude, it's Halloween. I had to bring it up.
uh, but see, everyone, we are going to not be talking about the Human Centipede or its sequel, Human Centipede 2,
We might.
Electric Boogaloo. We are going to be talking about Venom, and hopefully a little bit later we'll be talking about Han Solo, a Star Wars story. Because I know one of us really thinks it's a gem, and the other, well, thinks it's kind of a gem, or maybe
it's an interesting look at a bunch of callbacks is all it is. If I wanted to see a live action Family Guy, I would see Solo.
That's live action Family Guy. But so, man, so we saw Venom, and just to let everyone know, this is going to be spoilers, so, spoiler warning.
Be full of spoilers.
Yeah, because it's made like 80 million last week when it first came out. It made another like 37 million, and it's still climbing. So that's just domestically. I think it's made like $378 million worldwide so far, and I don't think it's even been in China yet. So it's probably. I mean, if I were to just speculate, it's probably going to make over like $700 million. With
it's doing amazingly well, and deservedly so. It's a great film, and it's lucky that it didn't have any other big movies premiere at the time that it premiered, because I think that may have killed it because there was so much naysaying about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that people would have gone to see another big opening instead of this film. But fortunately, it was a strong enough movie that its word of mouth has carried it along, and it's doing quite well. It's doing quite well. And
yeah, I mean,
I was one of those naysayers, and fortunately, and happily, I was proven wrong.
Really?
It's a good film.
Oh,
it is
cool,
a good
man.
film. I enjoyed that movie.
Well, I know
a lot more than I should have.
Well, since like if you want, man, like I'm not a big, like, I like Spider-Man, but I've always been like a casual person. I mean, I always grew up with Spider-Man because like one of the comic books I would always get would be Superman, usually John Byrne's Superman, and then Spider-Man, and my brother would slip in Batman because he knew I like Batman. And then every once in a while we have like the Flash or Green Lantern or something like that. But I know that you're more into like the continuity, and I know that you're more of a purist, I guess one could say.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
You're absolutely right. And I'm a big team book guy. When I was a kid, I would normally pick up just team books. I was a big Avengers guy, a big X-Men guy, big JLA, Legion of Superheroes guy, and the big event, Secret Wars, when it hit, I was all over that because it was, all the heroes, and it came out around the same time that Crisis came out, and I was a big Crisis on Infinite Earths fan, and I think it hit just after Crisis came out, or It may have been a little after it finished. You know, my memory's a little foggy. This is quite a long while ago. I mean, it was back way back when I was in high school, and I really enjoyed that storyline, and I loved the new costume. So that subsequently made me follow lightly the Spider-Man title, and whenever they would mention something new going on with the costume, I found that interesting, and I would pick up the book, and I watched Venom develop. In ASM 300, when he first appeared as Venom, I was finding fascinating, and I was a little concerned that this movie wouldn't deal with Spider-Man at all, which it didn't. But it still managed to pull off a very fine horror / sci-fi film, I thought. If you didn't know a thing about the comics, you'd enjoy the movie. If you knew stuff about the comics and were able to suspend everything that you knew, you'll enjoy this film. So I liked it.
That's very good, man. Yeah, I liked it too. I liked what they did because I liked how there was like 2, I think, Easter eggs that they did where number 1, it was like the like, what was it? Within the first 5 minutes, we learned that one of the astronauts on the plane or ship was named Jameson, so John Jameson, most likely, J. Jonah Jameson's son. And then
absolutely, it was absolutely a nod to him.
Yeah,
which was cool.
and which I thought was great too. And then you had who was it? Anne Wing, Eddie Brock's girlfriend / fiance in this, bring up the fact that he used to work in New York and he worked at the Daily Globe, which I thought was really cool because if anyone knows the history of Spider-Man, the Daily Globe was a rival of the Daily Bugle, and actually the editor of the Daily Globe was more on the side. He was more objective and kind of on the side of Spider-Man rather than J. Jonah Jameson, who was just like, "Oh, hey, these are great pictures, Parker. I can, rub Spider-Man's face all in the mud." So it's like
Spider-Man today. Let me see.
Yeah, very much. Very much. And there was like a time when I believe that Peter Parker, I don't know if he quit or if he got fired, but he went to the Daily Globe, and that's how him and Eddie Brock kind of like had the rivalry. And Eddie Brock was, I can't remember if he did he write some falsified something about Spider-Man? Was that it? Or
Eddie had a story about a villain whose name at this point escapes me, where he revealed who the villain was, but he was wrong, and in Parker's investigative reporting showed that he was wrong in his findings, and it got him fired.
Oh, okay, that's what it was. Okay,
so Eddie Brock was angry at Spider-Man. I believe that's what it was. It's like I said, it's been
because we're talking about like mid '80s here. It's it's like 30 years ago.
I've done a lot of drugs since the mid '80s. Isn't all that it used to be, but and that was great. And then the very end with the reveal of Carnage, I thought was really good.
I like the So
it was great. It was great, but at the same time, it was the worst part of the movie because he had the worst red wig I have ever seen in a film. I mean, that was horrible.
Yeah, that's pretty bad, man. It didn't even look real. It was just kind of, he just...
It looked like a Raggedy Andy wig.
Yeah, I mean, he looked like an old woman, like an ugly old woman. It's just like, like I don't, and the way he was like emoting his face, and it's just like, doing all that. It's like, it's like, my God, man. It's like, geez,
let's face it. I love Woody Harrelson. I do. But he's making way too many cameos in these sci-fi superhero films. I mean, he's in a bunch of them. He was in Solo. Mm-hmm. And he's hitting this point in his age, and all of us men do this, where he's starting to look like someone's aunt, someone's older aunt. So putting him in a red wig was not the best idea.
That's right.
I mean, God bless him. He's a fantastic actor. a handsome fellow, has been in a lot of great movies, but he has hit that age where for a couple of years he's going to look like someone's older aunt, and then he'll get beyond that. But it was just a bad move, I think, on the part of the studio to put that Raggedy Andy wig on Woody Harrelson's head, his big bald pate.
That's right, folks. You heard it here first. At Gentlemen's with Cocktails with the scoops. Woody Harrelson is now changed into a woman. You know? Oh my! What is the world coming to?
Not at all. Oh man, he's more man than I'll ever be, and I'll never insult him that way. I'm just saying that unfortunately, men go through this phase as we get older, and you'll see once you hit that age, and look in the mirror and go, "I like my Aunt Peggy."
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I was like, my God, what has happened to me?
What happened? Maybe it's time for some testosterone shots, some testosterones. You can get those. Chef Boyardee makes those in a can now.
I look like I'm kicked in the face and someone called me an old woman. It's like.
I hope Woody never sees this because I respect him so much. I don't want him to punch me in the face.
Oh no, totally.
He could
We are totally
around the block.
We're gonna totally make this viral, man. This is how we do it. But but yeah, no, like I liked it. I liked that, and I kind of liked it was a bit campy too, like because when like he was just kind of like he was like, if I get out of here, it's gonna be carnage. It's like, my God, you know, it's like, Jesus Christ. Could you get more on the fucking nose, man?
Yeah, that's obviously the director going, more redneck, Woody. We need more redneck. And he just pushed it to the point of camp.
Yeah.
To where you're like.
Yeah, but I mean, it kind of worked. I mean, it's like, it's just kind of,
you know.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like one of those, like, where it's like, well, it's a mid-credit scene, number one, and yeah, it's like just happens like during the mid. There's actually two scenes, just to let everyone who knows who's watching this. There's two. There's the mid-credit, which we're talking about, and then there's a later one after a post-credit scene. Yeah. But yeah, the because I know that there was already speculation and talk about Woody Harrelson being on the set of Venom. And so everyone was speculating that he was going to be Cletus Cassidy, maybe not Carnage, but Cletus Cassidy, the other half of Carnage, was going to be there. So it's like, and I thought they set it up really good. I thought the way they left it off, I actually liked what they did with the symbiotes and like how, because they kind of did in Spider-Man and the animated series, I believe in like 94, like the early 90s, they instead of like the whole Secret Wars thing, they actually, like a space shuttle came down, landed, and it was kind of, I guess like that's what happened in Spider-Man 3 and 2, but in 94 they did that, and so, and it was, I think it was like a 4-parter of the animated series for Venom. But it was really good, man. Like, and I think that they kind of took off that a little bit, but this being like the Life Foundation and stuff like that. And I don't mind, if you're going to like recycle stuff, that's totally fine with me, because number one, it's like, if it's a good way and if it works organically, just tell a good friggin' story. I mean, I don't care if even if like, I know some people, they're like, oh, well, we saw this in Star Trek or Battlestar Galactica or blah, 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 blah. It's like, who cares? It's like, apparently they're paying homage to it.
Every story has been done.
Yeah.
And everyone who is a writer takes those stories that have been done or what he's been influenced by and makes his own goulash and puts it out there and hopes someone will like his telling of these stories that have already been told a million times. I loved what they did. I loved the setup of Venom. I loved that they recycled the spacecraft crashing with the symbiote on it. If it worked the first time, it was going to work the second time. And since they couldn't really touch the Spider-Man story, that was really their only option, other than a meteorite crashing to Earth with the symbiote on it. But then you've got, people saying, if that had happened, everyone would accuse him of ripping off the Blob. So they had to do something, and I really liked it. I love the way it was set up, and I love the way it was executed. And let's face it, what the heck is his name? I just drew a blank.
Tom Hardy.
He made that film. If it weren't for him, the movie wouldn't have been half as good as it was.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. His reactions to what was going on, you really felt when he emotes, he really emotes, and you feel it. He's a great actor. I love it.
Yeah.
You know, and he wasn't doing this again.
Yeah, he wasn't in the Bane. No, and that's what I like about Tom Hardy, man, is that like there's a part in it where like after he loses his job and loses his fiance and stuff like that, and because he goes after Carlton Drake, which is oh crap, what's his name? Shit, I can't remember the actor's name. Riz Ahmed. That's what it is. Yeah, after he goes after Riz Ahmed's character for some nasty dealings about his pharmaceutical company, because Carlton Drake is basically kind of like a Tony Stark / Elon Musk guy who's doing all this space venturing and stuff like that, where he's looking to expand to basically do like a Blade Runner-esque, like where we're overpopulated and there's nothing we can basically do in his eyes about climate change. So he's like this real genius guy, grew up in Britain and stuff like that. And so now he's trying to go on excavations and with the rockets and stuff like that, and looking for habitable planets and stuff like that in far out space. And what they do is that they bring back symbiotic or organic life for symbiotes back with them, and one actually gets freed. But what I liked about I liked the aspect of Tom Hardy is that after all this, you know, basically he does like you could, because I think there was a lot of people saying that some of his stuff was improv, and you could see that, like I was saying, like afterwards, after he loses everything, basically hits rock bottom, and then it's like 6 months later and he's looking for a job to be like a dishwasher, a telecommunicator, whatever, and he's like, hey, it's like, you know, my name's Eddie, you know, because he tells him like, I'm Eddie Brock, and it's like, yeah, I know my name's Mud, but I can change my name. I can even be a woman. Have you seen the movie Tootsie? It's like, you know, I really thought that was funny. You know, it's like, oh shit, you know, and you could probably see that. Yeah, it's like I love that, and it's just one of those things where you could. He
was absolutely desperate for work.
Yeah, and I could see like the director Ruben Fleischer just saying, hey man, just you know, just do what you want, you know.
And the villain in the movie, what was his name? You would just mention the villain's name. Are you still there? Did I just lose you? I think I lost you.
You might want to move closer on this side.
I lost him, not.
The reception's actually better on this side.
Yeah, it's fine now.
Okay.
Hello? I just lost him. Hello. Hello? It's not it. I just lost him. Lost a signal. Hello? Hello. He's not answering Messenger either. I wonder if he had a power outage. Hey, you there?
Yeah, I'm here, man. Sorry about that.
A little power outage.
And now my screen is.
Yeah, I lost it.
God damn it.
That was weird.
Hold on, man.
You there?
Hold on.
Okay. The rain in Spain falls mainly on the plains. We're still live. I hate dead air. So I don't know what to talk about. Sapphire, come. Come. Up. Hi. Up. Up. Come. Say hello to the people. Hello, people. My name is Sapphire. What you doing? What you doing? What you doing there? There you go.
Hello? Okay. All right. I hate this shit, man. This crap. Okay, everyone, we will wait for Chris to come back in. Hopefully. Hey, all right. Hey, sorry about that, man.
And
I don't know.
That's how it's done.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It just like for some reason my internet just shit the bed, and then I tried to restart my computer, and then for some reason it didn't want to play nice. But yeah, so like where we were. Sorry, everyone. But so
don't worry about that, everyone. We'll I guess edit that out later.
Yeah, pretty much. Or sometimes, or I may just say, yeah, fuck it. Leave it in for suspense, I guess. But,
you can play some music.
What's that? Play some music.
Play some lobby music. Yeah. Some intermission music. We can play some intermission music like at the
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Benny Hinn or Hill. Which one was the British comedian?
Benny Hill.
Yeah, Benny Hill. There we go. Yeah, Benny Hinn was the guy who touched people on the heads, and they did. Oh. But it's like
healed.
Yeah, very much. Yeah. But yeah, the okay. So getting back on Venom, yeah. So I love that opening scene where he's like this loser, but he's with her, and like women like bad guys. I mean, good women like bad dudes. I mean, that's just how it is. And then some good women like good guys. But it's like, yeah, but it's a trope, but it's like, yeah, but it's like
it worked.
Yeah, and that's what I like too. So it's just kind of like one of those things where, and I like all right, this is not going to happen. All right, we're going to close you. There we go. All right. Yeah, if I don't close that damn thing, man, it's gonna screw up my. It's like a Java update thing, and for some reason, man, like if I don't click it off, the damn Java goes crazy nuts, and it just starts fucking up my shit, and my screen goes black and everything else. But yeah, but I like the interaction between them.
It was a well-written story.
Yeah.
The characters were more than two-dimensional, which is always a plus. And I love the horror aspect of it. That was really cool. It played a little like Aliens, where you didn't see the monster at first, you didn't know what was going on, and then it played like a lot of the other older movies with the alien moving from body to body to body. I like that. That was neat. I mean, it's an old trope, but it worked in this instance, and it was really good. It linked to the story really well. It was good. I have no complaints about that film, other than the wig. Other than the wig. That's the only problem I had with the whole film.
Well, yeah, that's like I liked. I actually thought Riz Ahmed as Carlin Drake, he did a really good job. Jenny Slate, I think, was the lady who was Dr. Skirth, I believe her name was. Yeah, Dr. Skirth. And
which I thought at first he was like Dr. Skirt, and I'm like, well,
that's what I thought too. Yeah, but it's Skirth. Yeah, I was like, it's just like a weird name,
and that's what he called all the lady scientists that worked with him.
Yeah, hey, Dr. Skirt. Yeah, it's like, what's up? It's like,
what a dick.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, I don't know your first name, but that name Dr. Skirt. It's like,
not only is he an asshole, but he's a pig too.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, misogynistic. That's how we used to do movies back in the 80s, folks.
No, he's doing a
before all this Me Too shit happened, we used to call everyone Dr. Skirt. It's like, you're a woman.
Like he was some film noir detective,
It's like, I went to Dr. Skirt's place around 8 p.m.
Look, Skirt. But yeah, it was great. I loved it. I loved it. And of course he was your typical mad scientist. Move to human testing, just like Green Goblin on Spider-Man. Move to human testing right away.
Yeah, that was Yeah, that was just one of those things that was just kind of was like freaking me out a little bit because I was just like, all right, man, it's like I understand you. I mean, it's motherfucker. It's been like, well, see, that's the bad thing too, is because I keep on forgetting that they jump like 6 months. So like I'm like,
Yeah.
wasn't it just like 2 days ago? I'm like, wait a second, yeah, they did the 6 month jump thing.
Yeah.
But I will say this, man, this is what kind of gets me about the whole Eddie Brock living in San Francisco, and then because it's Silicon Valley and shit. And that is like one of the highest places to rent a fucking apartment. Now his apartment wasn't like a damn hole in the wall. Okay. It was like this motherfucker had like a big ass fucking loft and shit.
Yeah, he's
and
out
with
of
like
work,
a bathroom.
and he's still able to afford that.
Yeah, I mean that's like
that apartment in San Francisco. Never would have. He would have been on the streets with that lady.
Yeah, dude. I looked
up
just
they picked up.
I looked up like apartment apartment buildings in fucking San Francisco. Like 1 month's rent, like the cheapest I found was like $3,100 a month. I was like, fucking A, man, you got to be kidding me. It's like that dude must have cashed out a nice ass 401k or some shit, man. When he must have had a good ass pension when he got fired or some shit.
And honestly, I don't know how anyone lives in California, especially in the big urban areas, because it's so expensive to live in some of the high-end urban areas that that's why the homeless levels are so high in San Francisco, LA, and a lot of the larger cities there in California, because everything's so high. The taxes are so high.
Well, see, I thought you brought up a good thing too. Like when we were watching the movie, and I had actually forgot about this. Like when you said that Eddie Brock Venom was actually a defender of the homeless, like how he was with his with the lady who damn, I can't remember. I think was it Michelle, the lady's name? Yeah. And so because like the way he gets the symbiote is that he breaks in with Dr. Skirth and he sees Michelle, his friend, who hangs out at the local Quickie Mart that he goes to just around from his apartment building, and he doesn't see her like one time, like 6 months later, because they, like as you said, they went to human test trials, and they're testing on homeless people, and so he sees her locked up. He tries to freeze her basically, and that's when the I guess her organs were used up by the symbiote, and then it moved on to Eddie. Yeah, and then and I guess she died. I'm guessing because she just looked like fucking stale, cold ass meat.
I found it a little bit problematic that the symbiotes suddenly were able to find symbiosis with their hosts right away. Like when it jumped into the main bad guy. What was his name?
Oh, Carlton Drake. Carlton Drake.
Yeah, when it jumped into him, bam, and then it jumps into Venom jumps into the lady.
Yeah,
and all of a sudden, she's able to act as Venom and use those powers that Venom has. When prior to that, unless they reached symbiosis and they were a match, they couldn't do it. So that was a little bit of a push on the logic of the storyline that they had already set up. But that was fine.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I look at it like this, man. I mean, you have that 6 month break. So how long? This is where it's just kind of like, okay, you just have to kind of do your own logic or justification to it. So symbiotes have been in our atmosphere because originally the reason why that they couldn't survive in our atmosphere is because of it being carbon based and stuff like that, oxygen, and because they needed.
But they had already laid down the groundwork.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Eating up people's organs and stuff, even after that 6 months, because they weren't compatible.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Symbiosis.
But that's what I'm saying. Like maybe because of prolonged exposure to our atmosphere, even though since they're organic, maybe they're evolving as well. You know what I'm saying? Like they latch on to one host, and it's kind of like how a virus, mutates, right?
Yeah.
From person to person, from host to host.
So maybe it was able to mutate itself within the human hosts to where it would be easier for it to acquire symbiosis when it jumps into a different. I can see that.
And then basically, going to Eddie would be like, like that's the perfect match, like where it's not having to like mutate itself, again and again and again, or like rearrange. It's like, okay, I can stick with Eddie. Eddie's good, and this mofo I'm just gonna take over the world with.
People out left and right.
What's that?
What was his name? The other symbiote.
Oh, Riot.
Yeah, Riot. He was burning bodies up left and right.
Yeah, because I think. I thought that was cool too.
Was frightening as hell.
What's that?
That little girl was scary as hell.
Yeah. Well, that's like Riot had. Well, he had Jameson. He had the EMT, the old lady, the girl, and then Carlton Drake, and that's 5. But also too is that you got to look at it like this: like Riot is basically on a mission. He's like, well, and that's what I loved that
and he's much more powerful
Venom. Yeah, like Venom was saying that basically, hey, he's considered a team leader. He's basically the alpha, right? Where fucking Venom isn't even a beta. He's more like a fucking gamma, and because and that's what I love. It's like he says that, hey, I'm a loser, on my fucking planet, and you're a loser too. And so but here I can be something better, I can be more, and that's what I liked about it. Like just, and I liked how as Venom was with Eddie, that basically it was learning from him and stuff like that, and actually just like kind of like going into his brain and seeing things that basically like his relationship with Anne and the way, and even like his feelings and how his heart would palpitate and flutter, and how his palms would get fucking sweaty and stuff like that, and his body chemistry would change, and that's how Venom knew, hey, he really liked this lady and stuff like that. And so, and just by the chemical imbalance or the chemicals that he was giving off, like Venom knew that, and even Venom could go into his brain and see like, oh, or the symbiote. See, like that's what's a little bit fucking with me too, is that the symbiote already had the name Venom, and it's like I'm like, no, Venom is Eddie and the symbiote coming together, with their rage and anger and stuff like that. I know it's like it's more towards Peter Parker, but just like whether Eddie's mad at society or mad at Carlton Drake, or mad because he got screwed over in New York, now he's got screwed over in San Francisco, or whatever he's raging at, that's what Venom is. It's all that rage. It's a big ass rage monster, and that's what I was just a little disappointed with because like in the trailer, like at the end it says that we are Venom. It's like that's cool, but then Venom says that hey, I'm Venom. It's like, well, shit. It's like that. That's what I was a little bit disappointed with. I mean, it's not a big deal, but it's just something like just kind of like poking holes a little bit in it. I mean, I still enjoyed the movie. I still loved the movie. I thought it was great.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just one of those things where it's just like, man, like could you just have been like, I'm a symbiote, and or what you consider a symbiote, and then at the end when Venom becomes Venom, the anti-hero, it's like we are Venom. It's like
yeah. Unfortunately, like a lot of modern films, they have very small plot holes that are easy to poke through. So it's best not to poke around at it too much. Just enjoy the ride, I guess.
Yeah, and that's one of those things too. It's like I'm a person where I don't want to say, like, I don't like the term suspending my disbelief, and it's just because it's like, to me, I don't think one should have to suspend their disbelief. It's like, listen, look, you just got to know the rules and laws of this world or dimension or whatever. It's like when you start like disobeying them or not abiding by them, that's when like I have problems with it, because it's like, okay, now you can do whatever the fuck you want to, because you have a Deus Ex Machina that you get you out of shit. You know, it's like, instead of like thinking of something very logically and rationally, like the fucking Matrix, like the first Matrix. Okay, you have this law that in the fucking Matrix people can do all this shit. You know, it's like fly and fucking do bullet stop time and shit. You know, and whiz around. And that's great. You know. But then you see a motherfucker at the end, like the Matrix 3, where you see Neo fucking pulling out lightning bolts out of his fucking hands like goddamn Palpatine, you know, in real life. It's like, Jesus Christ, you're not even the fucking Matrix, you doing this shit. You know, goddamn, man.
I hated the second two Matrix films. I act like they don't even exist. In my world, the only Matrix was the first Matrix, and that was it.
Yeah, and that's what that's what I hear a lot of people say, because it's just like one of those things where, I mean, you have fucking Colonel Sanders as the architect, and then it's like, you know, it's like, you know, I'm just waiting for some extra crispy deep fried chicken, you know. Here's my favorite recipe, boys. You know, you came all the way up here. Get some rich or spicy. You know, it's like, what the fuck, man?
They were so poorly done. They were painful.
Yeah, I mean,
compare it to the first movie. The second movie, it looked like all they woke up from the Matrix were super hot people, and all they wanted to do was dance.
Yeah, it's like fuck, and
all they wanted to do was have brains, and the only ones that were older and had any brains about them were the guys on the ships. It just it made my head want to explode. They were horribly written. They were just bad.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the what was it, Reloaded and Revelations, and I've seen both those, and I was like, okay, cool, you know. But yeah, I mean, I do have to agree with people. Then that's where I'm coming with, man. It's just like the whole fucking logic of like, okay, this makes, you know, you just broken the fucking rules of the first one. It, you know, like with Star Wars, for instance, it's like, you know, I mean, you know, if you're going by like the new saga, it's like, well, the fucking reason why they can do the Skype calling and shit, it's like, because this is something new. It's not, I mean, we don't really know the laws of fucking Star Wars. I mean, the Force is some mystical, magical fucking power, you know, with fucking that space wizards can do, apparently, you know. And people who are force adapts or force sensitive, you know.
Space wizards.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they fucking were. It's like, you know, I mean, I'm not trying to be condescending, but it's just one of those things. It's just.
I know this is a great way for us to segue into Solo. I enjoyed, and I'm really sorry that more people didn't enjoy The Last Jedi. Was that it? My God, my memory's shot, and I just saw that film not long ago.
What's that?
The last Star Wars film.
Oh, yeah. Solo. Yeah, it was the last one.
No, the one before that.
Last Jedi.
Trilogy.
Last Jedi. Yeah.
So many people dislike that film, and I thought it got a lot of unneeded and unnecessary hate. I enjoyed the movie. I didn't necessarily like the way, and we talked about this, the way that they had Princess Leia burst forth from the exploded ship and fly through space like Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
Could have been done, could have been handled better. Made sense since she was force sensitive and powerfully so, because she's a Skywalker, that she would be able to survive an instance like that, but not in the way that she did. I thought it was a little too overly dramatic. Yeah. And that was the only problem I had with the movie. Everyone got so upset about the film. I love the way that Luke went out. He went out the way he wanted to go out, which was very spiritual. He was ready to go, and he just let go. He had done what he wanted to do, and he let go. It was his time, and he knew it.
Yeah.
And every warrior would rather go peacefully than on the battlefield. Now, when they're younger, they'll tell you, I want to die on the battlefield. That's where I want to go. But as they get older, they want to live to a ripe old age and just die when they're ready. Just fade away. And I think that was really well handled. I thought it was a great film, and it got a lot of undue hate, in my opinion, by a lot of purists who just have no room in their imagination for this new Star Wars that's being set up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
Solo was horrible.
Yeah, I loved it, man. I mean, I saw the movie three times. No, but that's cool, man. But I'm glad we're on different sides of the Solo coin, you know, because like I saw it 3 times in a movie theater, on 3 different Sundays. I saw it Sunday, the Sunday it came out, and then the next Sunday after that, and the Sunday after that, and I really enjoyed it. I know we talked about. I loved. What's his name? Alden Ehrenreich. I thought he did a great solo. I didn't think.
Oh,
what's that?
He did.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things is that you can either, and I've heard people say this too, on the interwebs. It's like you can either get a person who looks like Harrison Ford, do like an impersonation of Harrison Ford, being Han Solo, or you can get an actor who's like acting his ass off and just saying, "Hey, listen, look, this is the Han Solo that I'm bringing to it." I think it was a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. And the CEO Bob Iger came out and said, "Listen, look, it wasn't Kathleen Kennedy's call to make Solo come out in fucking May. It was my call, and she shouldn't take any blame for that, for the unwell received and lack of a big box office because of Solo. That's on me. That's not on her." And because
that may have been my biggest issue with the film, was that it seemed rushed. It seemed like it was pushed out the door before it was done.
Yeah,
there were way too many callbacks to other Star Wars movies. Look, we get it. It's part of the Star Wars universe. You don't have to keep doing callbacks. We've seen the other Star Wars movies. Stop it already. Just tell me a story.
See, I like.
Does every plot have to deal with the good guys dressing up as the bad guys to sneak in somewhere and do something? Because that's every single Star Wars plot. And I'm just so tired. They could have done such a better job at the story. But then again, if it were rushed, I could see it being what it was. Now, did I enjoy the movie? There were parts of it I enjoyed, but on the whole, it felt like a hemorrhoid. I was not really happy, and it burned a little. It burned a little, and it could have been so. I think it could have been so much better. I think they could have played up the scoundrel act a little more with both Solo and Lando. Lando, I think, should have been much more of a ladies' man. Should have been surrounded by women, because he's a womanizer.
Yeah.
Whether that is popular now today or not doesn't matter. That's who that character is. Don't pull away from it. Don't censor yourself because you're afraid of how the public's going to react. Throw it all out there. And then I think that if you have that character play true to tone, then he's more believable, because he was set up as this ladies' man who was always, on the make, and he was trying to make it with Princess Leia the first moment he met her.
Yeah,
I mean, he was all over her.
Well, also too, it's like the way that I looked at it is that they were setting this up for a trilogy, because when we first meet Han Solo back in Coruscant with or not Coruscant, I'm sorry. Corellia.
Yeah, Corellia.
The other sea planet. And he was with Kira.
The real C word.
What's that?
I said, "Can't's the real C word."
Yeah, exactly. Can't. But yeah, when he was with Kira, like so that's basically, what was it, 3? So that's 13 years before A New Hope, and then he's in service for 3 years, so that's 10 years when he meets Beckett. That's 10 years before A New Hope. And the way that I look at it is like, okay, this is where, so he was an Imperial stormtrooper, or a mud trooper, fighting and I actually liked that. I actually liked that he was, because you know, he went to the academy, he flunked out of the academy, or he got demoted in the piloting academy because he didn't want to make up the follow the rules. Now, see, to me, what I loved about that, because he's saying all this shit, but how do we really know, you know, if he was actually in the academy, right? I mean, because the guy could have been like, all right, kid, you made it into the academy, maybe he was being very condescending and just, you know, fucking with him, you know, like the guy who gives him the name Solo. Like, I actually like that. I mean, where he's like, who are your people? He's like, I have no people. And then he's like, Solo. You know, I actually like that. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And why would he, and why would he keep that name? Because if the Imperials gave it to him, as basically a reminder of what he doesn't want to be. It's kind of like, you know, it's what he wants to get away from. He wants to get away from that.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong.
Like
there were shining moments during the film that I did enjoy, like that. But too often they're leaning on the strength of the old stories with all the callbacks to tell the new story. You don't need to do that if you've got a competent writer. Well,
that's the thing. I mean, well, so you had Lawrence Kasdan and his son John Kasdan. What I liked about it is that, I mean, yeah, it does. Like, when in the beginning, apparently, like the beginning scene with the worm lady and stuff, that was like, people call it from like Doctor Who and shit, like a Doctor Who villain. That was supposed to be the ending of that, and I actually liked that. I actually liked how he had the Rock thinking and made her think for like a second or two, or everyone, that it was a thermal detonator. Yeah. What I don't like is that now when Leia goes into fucking what is it, Jabba's palace, that now she heard this fucking story from Han, right? Or heard the story about Han, or he told her whenever the fuck before he was in Carbonite, and basically now that's where she got it from. You know, I liked it because now a person can say that shit, but really she's like, hey, I have a fucking thermal detonator, I'm not fucking around. Where it's like before,
you've basically retconned a really cool event.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting to, because basically
with a retcon.
Yeah, because she's a general. It's like, listen, look, she's telling, okay, Chewbacca, you're going to be locked up. You're going to be, I'm going to take you. Lando, you're going to be a guard. It basically, if Luke's going to go in first, if that fails, then we have this backup plan, right? And then basically she's being, you know, very strategic, very militant, instead of like, oh, Han did this one thing and it failed, but I'm going to do it right because I got it from Han fucking Solo. You know, it's like, no, she doesn't need Han Solo. She's fucking Princess goddamn Leia.
A lot of these prequel films have ruined a lot of the big events from the older films. The first three prequel movies, which I hate, totally ruined the surprise that we learn in Empire. When I first saw Empire and learned that Darth Vader was Luke's father, it blew me away. But new generations that watch these films, they're going to watch the prequels first, and they're going to know that Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's dad. So it totally ruins the biggest surprise of the original trilogy.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the biggest problem with a lot of these prequel films that are being made, is that they're ruining big moments, like in Jabba's palace, that we see later on.
Yeah,
so that's my biggest complaint with a lot of these films.
Yeah, and that's one of those things I had problems with too, because now you have this argument. I mean, it hasn't really come out. No one has like really said, Lawrence or John Kasdan has said like, yeah, that's where, you know, she got it from, was from Han Solo. But if someone wanted to make a fucking argument,
people are going to assume. Movies are just going to assume that.
Yeah, exactly, because there's a solid now fucking argument for that shit, that somehow, some way, you know, that Han told Leia about it, you know, before he was frozen in carbonite. You know, it's like, well, fuck. You know, it's like, and that just kind of, and that just sours my fucking grapes a little bit too. But on
some of the CGI in Solo, I think, was a little rough. But
see, what the CGI? Really? See, I liked it, man. I thought. See,
I did like that creature. What's her name? Lady. What's her name?
Oh, yeah. Shit. Yeah, you're talking about the nocturnal worm. I thought she was good, man.
I thought it looked horrible, but that's my opinion. Opinions are like assholes. We all have.
No. But that's cool, man. I mean, it's like I actually liked it because it showed you. Okay, so Han Solo, he was a runaway, right? His father, he says that his father worked on the shipyards of Corellia. Basically, the reason why he wanted the ship so bad, one could say, is that basically maybe his father, that he's like telling Lando that, hey, the ship doesn't belong to you. The ship's not yours, right? Because it's like he's probably imagining, yeah, my father put one of those bolts in it, or my father put that hyperdrive in, or whatever the fuck, right? Whatever he was in charge of, his hands have been on this fucking ship, this freighter, this Corellian freighter, that's been souped up and shit. And that's why he's like, hey, and he's still, as much as that motherfucker wants to get off Corellia, that's his home. That ship is him. That's, to me, it's like very poetic.
I just think that visually that creature just wasn't up to snuff.
Yeah, but that's what I'm getting to. It's like what I liked about, I mean, I didn't really have a problem with it because, like, number one, it looked like, to me, I think it was practical effects, man. I mean, except for like when like he shatters the glass, and then she does it was horrible. Well, I mean, like her coming up, that's what I'm talking about being practical. Yeah. I think that was practical. Now her screaming and getting all fucking face vampire shit going on, scarification. Now that's CGI. That's probably that's what I would consider CGI. But I really didn't focus too much on that because like she was already bubbling up and shit. And I was just, and they cut away real quick. So
effects. I'm a big creature effects guy. For instance, The Thing. Some of the best practical effects I've ever seen, well before CGI was even thought of being used in films. John Carpenter's The Thing.
Oh yeah.
Some of the best practical effects I've ever seen, especially for the creature effects, and they still hold up to this day and look real.
Yeah,
and that's my biggest. Heck, even some of the original Star Wars effects were just awful. The Rancor scene against the blue screen or green screen. I think they used green screen back then. I don't remember. But it just looked awful. The stop motion Tauntaun and Empire looked horrible in reflection. And but with a movie out there like John Carpenter's The Thing, when they can make those practical effects look so real, it bothers me when I see newer movies where some of the CGI isn't even as good as the practical effects they used in The Thing. But that's just a personal beef.
No. I mean, I like practical. I would rather have practical because it's something tangible, it's something real. It's something that I can.
Practical effects, I'd rather see that than CGI. Absolutely.
Yeah, and also too, you're not having like a stick with a fucking golf ball and saying, okay, this is a Gungan, like they did in the fucking prequels, and that's why when people like I've seen Hayden Christensen, act in a movie called Takers, and he was really fucking good. He wasn't wooden, he wasn't all this, but you're asking a person to make believe that a thing's there. Now, some people have more vivid imaginations than others, and you could say, well, that's you could go with the old Laurence Olivier, it's acting, boy, it's like type thing, like him talking to Dustin Hoffman, when they did the Marathon Man together. It's like, but some people can't do that shit. It's like, you can act, but you're going to act fucking horrible, It's
I blame a lot of that on the director. If you're a director and you can't bring that out of your actor, that's your fault. Because Hayden Christensen is not a horrible actor. I've seen him in other films too, and he's not bad. But in the prequel movies, he was so stiff and wooden that it can only be laid at the feet of the director, not the actor, because we know that he's got acting chops.
Yeah.
So if you've got a bad director, they're just going to pull so acting out of a decent actor.
Yeah. Yeah, no, man. I mean, you're right on that, because it's just kind of like, you know, like a person, but like what we're talking about, like with Tom Hardy, right? I mean, he's a bit, I think he's a bit of a method actor, but he doesn't like go like all fucking extremo and shit. But he's like a person who's been in the game. He's also a producer too. He writes with his father on the show Taboo, that he produces himself with his father, and you know, he's one of those guys where he's like well-rounded. The only thing he hasn't done is like directed, where you have a person like that, or like a Bradley Cooper now, and it's one of those
Bradley
things.
Cooper.
Yeah,
those guys are actors. Those guys are guys who put themselves into that character.
Yeah, it's
they
like one
like that character, and they become that character, and they react to the events in the script as they think that character may react.
Yeah, exactly. So they're kind of like directing themselves in a way, or basically, you know, like asking, hey, would it be cool if I tried this? You know, and the director may be, yeah, you know, if that feels a little bit better for you, yeah, let's try it. Let's try it this way, you know, and stuff like that. You know, that's where, like what you were talking about. It's like, to me, it's like it's mostly the director, but when you have a strong enough actor, like where it's given little to nothing, and then they just take the ball and run with it, shit, man, that's great. Yeah. You know, but once again, those are few and far between, you know. What's up?
If the actor's not strong enough, the director has to take those reins.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
pull it out of them. You got to say, emote more, do this, do that, look over here, and look. I need this to look a little more realistic. Look a little more scared. You know, unlike, you know, conversely, we were talking with Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
as Cassidy. Well overdoing it, and I'm sure that wasn't his fault. Woody Harrelson is a phenomenal actor.
Yeah.
And it just played camp when he was all redneck. It just didn't wash, especially when you look at Woody Harrelson in Natural Born Killers, where he played a redneck and wasn't campy at all.
Yeah.
So I think that, and he was a redneck serial killer in Natural Born Killers. He should have just channeled that character, and a good director would have just said that to him. Remember that guy you were in Natural Born Killers? We need that in this scene.
Yeah, just fucking amp. Well, that's probably what happened, man. Oh, well, I mean, I could see it, and them saying, hey, bring that motherfucker was like 11, make that dude a 21. But it's like when you amp it up too much, it becomes too camp, you know. And also and that's one of those things where it's like, holy fuck, you know. But also too, it's just one scene, so it's just kind of like, I think it was done on purpose, basically for people to be like, oh shit, Carnage is coming, you know. That's what I kind of think. It's like real quick, like the fucking end scene of Solo, right, with Darth Maul, you know, and him busting out the fucking lightsaber, and everyone getting butthurt because his lightsaber goes red in a holocron thing, you know, in a hologram, which it shouldn't. Why the fuck is his lightsaber fucking red? It's like, well, it's for people who don't know, you know, and maybe was it, what the fuck is his name? I
see you looking at me. I don't know what you're talking
about. The guy who the bad guy they were working for, who in Solo, you know what I'm talking about?
I know.
Fucking Vision from the Avengers. I can't remember his damn name. I can
never remember that guy's name. You mean
but yeah, like maybe because he was a part of Crimson Dawn, this fucking syndicate, right? You know, maybe he had a better souped up or a prototype of a fucking, but here we go again with the whole, we gotta like rationalize shit now, where he has like a prototype fucking hologram thing where it can, like, the limited color is fucking red, right? Maybe for colorblind people, I don't fucking know. But the thing is that, you know, it's like maybe green too,
like you said earlier.
Yeah,
follow the rules that you set in the universe.
Exactly.
Don't break them. Make something look neat.
Well, that's like in the original. They actually cut that from what I've heard online is that they actually did that scene twice. They did the scene without the lightsaber and a scene with the fucking lightsaber because I guess they did like a test screening for like executives and stuff, and they were like, well, why doesn't he have the lightsaber if he's a dark Jedi or a Jedi
That's
or whatever?
the problem.
You know,
That's the problem when you let executives tell producers and directors how to do movies.
Yeah,
you know, and that's what happens. That's how we get movies like Superman versus Batman.
Yeah, and where it's just a real shit show.
Yeah, when you let the studio heads decide what's going to happen, that's a problem.
I mean, I don't mind studio interference because, like, if we didn't have studio interference, like from Kevin Feige, then the Wasp would have been in Avengers, the first Avengers, rather than Black Widow. So, I mean, Wasp would have been cool, but I am glad that they went with Scarlet Joe in the Avengers and Iron Man 2. You know, I mean, that's just kind of like, and
I personally, being a purist, I would rather have seen the Wasp. Sorry, you lost my picture there. My phone went.
No, you're good, man. You're good. You're good, bro.
I would rather have seen the Wasp because she was an original Avenger. That would have been nice. I wish they had included Wasp and Ant-Man, the original Ant-Man.
Yeah, Hank Pym, man.
Hank Pym in the original Avengers film. Then I think that Age of Ultron would have been better because Hank Pym created Ultron in the comics, and I think they could have played that better. I'm really a little sick of in the Marvel Universe films, everything centers around Stark and his family. That's just ridiculous, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, the Dryden Voss was the character's name, the villain in the movie.
Yes.
Dryden Voss. Shit. I just had the damn the guy played in fucking he played in A Beautiful Mind. He played in he was guy, what's his name? Chaucer, Jeffrey Chaucer.
You got the internet in front of you, don't you?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of it. Is that's like, you know, I don't want to cheat. Bentley, what's his name? Shit.
When you hang out with guys our age or older, and we sit there and we argue about some simple trivia fact and never look it up on our phones until the last minute.
Paul Bettany.
Ends up being a big argument. Who is it?
It's Paul Bettany. I just looked it up. That's
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, Dryden. Yeah, he played. Yeah. As it's like, it took 2 seconds, but Paul Bettany. Yeah. It's like, but I love trying to, because I'm like, I know the motherfucker's name, man. It's like I can see him. You know, but yeah.
Well, you're trying to keep those brain cells working, and as you get older, they get weaker, and you got to keep pushing them.
Yeah, but that's where it's just like you're just having to, and that's where, see, like, I didn't even watch Clone Wars, so I didn't even know about fucking whatchamacallit having spider legs and shit at one time. Him about Darth Maul having a fucking brother. And him being the son of the witch of the High Witch and shit, and so like I didn't know any of this going in, but I'm like, I was pretty fucking surprised because I know who the fuck Darth Maul was, you know, and because I've seen him on
I thought it was a
trailer for fucking Phantom Menace with the double fucking lightsaber. I was like, oh shit, this guy's back. What the fuck? I thought
it was a shame what they did to Darth Maul. In the prequels. I thought he was a solid villain and should have survived a lot longer than he did.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
He ended up being a jobber. He was Batroc. He just didn't make it, you know.
Yeah,
but he did go up against.
He did go up against what?
He did go up against 2 Jedi. So
yeah,
very powerful Jedi.
Well, I have seen the Rebels. I think it's like season 3. I can't remember if it's like episode 8 or whichever episode it is of Rebels, where he finds Obi-Wan on Tatooine, and he does face him. and it's really cool, man, because of the way that they do it. It's like a samurai showdown, man. It's like the old Kurosawa films, like
Oh, that
yeah. I mean, it reminds me of that.
Like the Seven Samurai.
Yeah, kind of like that. Well, like you ever seen Yojimbo and fuck the other one? What's the other one? Mifune. You know, the Shiro Mifune, the actor.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he was in Seven Samurai. He was the
Yes.
the
Yes, Mike Harbour. I see your chats. I'm letting Mike know. He wanted to know if I could see his chats. He's
Oh, okay,
watching.
yeah, no worries.
What's up, Mike?
So it was similar to that. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen Rebels, and I didn't see the other animated show that you were talking about. And I think that a lot of us older folks are lost when it comes to those animated shows that are linked to these Star Wars movies, because we simply don't watch them.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
I'm 50, and I've got so many other shows that I'm watching. I don't really have time to take the time out of my day and watch Rebels,
well, yeah,
or
see,
any other. Go ahead.
No. I was gonna say that. I mean, I looked it up in YouTube, man, because everyone was just making, because you can see it on YouTube, like the showdown between them now, and I was like, oh, okay. But the way that they do it, and Sanjuro was the other one, Yojimbo, and then Sanjuro was the Toshiro Mifune, the Kurosawa films that I was trying to remember. Those are really good, and if you ever get a chance, man, like I love those. And
I'd check them out. I mean, I've heard so many good things about them.
Yeah, Sanjuro is really good, and Yojimbo is as well.
And I need,
but
I need to see them.
But the way like in the when they're facing off, like old samurai style, you see them like do like different positioning and stuff like that, and then Obi-Wan does a positioning as Qui-Gon did, where he was going off against Maul, where Maul lifts up his double-ended lightsaber and then goes in for the kill like he did. So basically, whatchamacallit, kind of positions himself that way that his master did. So Maul would be like, oh shit, he's doing the same thing that his master did, and trying to basically sucker him in to that, and then he goes in for the kill. And it's really cool, man. It's because it's just like, I think it's like 3 or 4 hits, and then he goes in with a death blow, and then you actually see right after Maul fall into Obi-Wan's arms, and he's dying, and he's like, is he the chosen one? It's like, and or because basically Maul says that you're here for a reason, and little to nothing is given from Obi-Wan. And then I think he says he at one point, and he's like, it's a he, and then he's like, is he the chosen one? And then Obi-Wan's like, yes. And then and then Maul says some shit, some villainous crap, like he will turn on you or some bullshit, or something like that. Yeah. And then he dies, But it's really cool. It's pretty badass. I mean, I don't like Rebels because of the animation. I think the animation fucking sucks, man. I mean, myself, and that's just me. Like, I would rather have Robotech fucking animation than that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things where I didn't grow up on fucking 3D animation. That's why I don't watch Clone Wars, because I'm just like, god damn, man, this 3D shit. It looks fucking horrible, man.
It's hard on the eyes. They really haven't perfected it, in my opinion. It just doesn't look good to me.
Yeah,
it just doesn't. I'd rather see, and this is me being an old guy again, I'd rather see a hand-drawn cartoon.
Yeah, that's what really pissed me off, man, when Disney like let go of all their fucking artists, you know, like 2D artists. I'm just like, what the fuck, man? It's like, you know, it's like, and they let them all go.
What made them?
Yeah, that's what fucking pissed me off. And because I used to have a buddy, his father worked was an artist at Walt Disney World, in Orlando.
Really cool.
Yeah, and I used to work at Borders Books and Music as a bookseller back in the day before I went in the military, and my buddy Darren, his father was like, I think it was in management of it, because he worked for Disney for fucking ever, man, and just in animation and shit, and so like when his dad got laid off, man, because that's when I think when Pixar hooked up with him, what's his name, the guy who was in charge of Pixar, God, Kasner, right? John Lasseter. That's who it was.
Oh, Lasseter?
Yeah, Lasseter. John Lasseter, wasn't he? He was like in charge of Pixar and shit. And
oh yeah, Pixar. I was thinking Disney.
And then but that's when they teamed up together, right? You know, Disney and Pixar teamed up, because that's when they were like doing Toy Story and shit and all that stuff. And Monster Inc. But yeah, man, I mean,
I love Monster.
Yeah, Monster. Yeah, I liked it too. Like I'm not really big into that stuff. Like Toy Story was all right. Monsters Inc. was okay. I wasn't really big into it. Hey. But yeah, like but I know they're coming out with Toy Story 4 now soon.
Really?
Yeah, that's Tim Allen was just on The View, I think, or The Talk. I can't remember which. But he was talking about that.
What's the toy gonna be? A real doll?
A real doll?
I mean, at this point, he's old enough.
Yeah. But yeah.
It's going to be a real doll and his collectibles, not actual toys. They'll be collectibles.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, getting back on Solo, man. Like I liked the what you're talking about with the CG. I liked how they were running. I love the beginning where he jumps that speeder. I thought that was cool as fuck.
Yes.
And then that the song that's playing and like the opening credit, I thought that was fucking great, man. I think it's called My Name is Han Solo.
It had some redeemable moments.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that it was all trash.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I guess what I'm saying is I expect better out of a Star Wars property than what they gave me for that film, especially when it comes to a venerated character like Solo. Everyone loves that character. I want to see, if you're going to make a Solo movie, I want to see a movie that is as good, if not better than, any of the movies in the original trilogy.
Well, see, that
just didn't happen.
Well, see, that's what I was saying before about the whole trilogy thing. That's where I think that they were going with this, because you have to understand, it's like, I think that the big premise was that they had to have like the first heist, right? The first heist, a failure, so Solo can understand when Beckett, Woody Harrelson's telling him he loses Val, Tandy Newton, and everyone was pissed off that she died in the beginning, because she's a very strong actress and stuff like that, and she is, but to me it's like, okay, you have a significant character like her die because the stakes are high, right? And when Chewbacca and Solo meet Beckett, it's like, listen, kid, this ain't no fucking game. You know, it's like, I have to go back to Dryden Voss. You don't. But if you're in this for life, like he said. It's like you're fucking the scoundrel, bud. And that's what I liked about it. I mean, a lot of people hated it, hated that shit, but I was. What's up?
Sorry.
No, you're good, man.
What? Dinner.
You gotta go.
Over here smelling dinner bird. I'm getting concerned. No.
Oh, okay.
Not
okay. But so I liked that where it's like, it just shows you like the real stakes, and that's where it's kind of like you had to have that failure and the realism, like what we were talking about, those laws of like, okay, if you're in the underworld now, it's like, and that you're always going to be on the run, and I like that. So that when they went to Dryden,
and if it was going to be a trilogy, then I would say that it was a fine movie. But since it's not going to be,
well, yeah, not now, hell no. But that's the other thing. And that's the other thing too, because for me, okay, so like a person like me, where I'm just like the casual consumer, and you know, I'm fucking proud of it, because I'm not a person who dresses up in a fucking Jedi robe, start doing acrobats, and makes fan films. Nothing against it, you know what I'm saying? It's just that yo ass won't see me fucking doing that shit, you know. I mean, unless if I go to like a Halloween party or some shit,
yeah,
you know, like I'll dress up as Obi-Wan, fucking great. But the thing is that
the same way. I'm a fan, but I'm not a diehard fan. I'm
but
not
yeah,
gonna run around
dressed
up as
I'm stormtrooper. Yeah, like I'm not even a fan. I just enjoy it for what it is, and that's like and like I always say this, I'm a fan of like me, you know, I'm my biggest fan. That's who I'm a fan of, because it just kind of keeps me in check. Where it's like I because you see people.
I'm a fan of you too, Gregory.
Oh, thanks, man. You know, that's awesome. Yeah, and I know it's like it's so hard to be me these days, man. It's like, you know, with all this fandom going around, I don't know, man. It's like, you know, but yeah, that's. But it's just one of those things where, what's up?
I can't see your whole head in the camera. It's so big.
Oh yeah. It's like, it's so full of shit, man. You know, whale shit. But that's the thing. It's just, but that's how I keep myself in check, so I don't obsess over stuff by saying stuff like that, or training my brain to act a certain way, where it's like, okay, you know, I'm not going to argue or get in a fight with a person verbally or physically or whatever, because
about their opinion.
Yeah, about a fucking opinion, about something that's just words.
About a movie.
About reasons or whatever, you know. It's like what we're talking about. Like you see it a different way, because you grew up with this stuff. You know, I grew up with it through osmosis because of my brothers and stuff, and I played the West End Games role-playing game and stuff, so I know I know this shit. But it's like I was into like hockey and lacrosse and fucking wrestling and shit. You know, I mean, I'm a big WWE fan of the fucking 90s. I mean, you know, and people be like, that's fake. It's like, hey, I'm like, hey, it's not fake. It's choreographed. You know, it's scripted. Everyone knows what happens, but the hits are real.
80. You know, I grew up on The Ultimate Warrior
and fucking
Hulk Hogan
Macho Man, fucking Legion of Doom.
You know, old Randy Macho Man Savage.
You know, Dusty Rhodes, man, the American Dream.
Wrestling to me was comic books on TV, especially back then. Everyone was super colorful. You knew who the good guys were. You knew who the heels were, and it was almost like watching comic books on television. It was so bright and colorful and 80s, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't care who tells me it's fake. I know it's fake.
I mean, you know, but it's like
those falls and stuff those guys take are real. You've got to be in good shape to be able to do that.
Yeah, and when they fuck up, man, we have like a person like Owen Hart, God rest his soul, you know, falling from like fucking the rafters and shit, or you have like Stone Cold Steve Austin like taking a fall and having to have like, you know, a vertebrae in his neck because he got tombstone and the Undertaker did it wrong, or he fell wrong. It's just, that shit's real, man. They do real fucking moves. If you do a DDT on a person on concrete, you're gonna bust a person's skull right the fuck open.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things. So so that's where like but I'm not being condescending or anything. I like Star Wars. I mean, I really do. And like I love the Han Solo movie. And that's cool, because for me, being a casual consumer, loving, you know, liking entertainment or loving entertainment, you know, like movies and media and stuff like that, and entertainment media, for me, it's like for a person like me, where I don't know other than that fucking 12 parsecs are distance and not time, because everyone and their fucking uncle who fucking sleeps in the cellar has fucking said this over and over again at the comic shop. I don't know what a fucking parsec is, pal, but I just know this phrase. But seeing it on screen, right? Because they have the hyperdrive fuel, and it's going to explode if they don't go through the because they can go back the original way, which is blocked off now by the fucking Empire, or they can go through the path of least resistance, or the shorter path, but there's like danger ahead and shit, and it's not really, and you don't have that tunnel and stuff it's like going through the path that's least paved, you know. And so I'm like, okay, that's great, that's cool, that actually makes fucking sense for a person like me. And seeing them do that, and learning that L3 is a part of the Falcon now because of navigation and shit. And I thought that was like really cool. And dude, like when I saw like Lando go back for L3, you know, like when they're trying to escape and shit, and he's like L3, you know, like, dude, I've got fucking choked up, man, and it's a fucking android, you know. It's like, goddamn, because I mean that's his. Because to me, it's like, dude, I fucking got a little misty, man. I ain't gonna lie. And then him just like holding her, like when he's like in the lounge thing, and you know, fucking Kira's like, it's okay, I got this. You hold on. I mean, I was like, because
that was enough that bothered me about this movie. I've had enough of the smart-ass androids, all right? It's been done to death. Mm-hmm. Every single Star Wars movie has to have some smart-ass android that is cheeky, and it's done to death. Like I said with the other callbacks and tropes that were in this film, it's too much. Well, you know, like I said, how many times are we going to dress like the enemy to pull off a stunt or to do something? Let's come up with a new idea. And I know that they can do it. But like you said, if it were rushed, what option do they have but to pull from the old films and try to patchwork something together to make a story if they're going to rush it out like that? Yeah. So I can it's almost forgivable to me if that were the reason that it was so mediocre, because in my opinion it was mediocre. I know you liked it. I thought, as far as films go, since we're talking about both movies tonight, that Venom was a much better movie than Solo.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, I will say that I did like Donald Glover as Lando. I thought because I think he's a really strong actor. I haven't seen him on Atlanta, but I've seen him on other things. And but I like Tom Hardy a bit more. But that's like, you know, even though they're actors, it's kind of like apples and oranges, because they're two different styles.
Another level.
Yeah.
Tom Hardy is at such a level of acting ability, going all the way back to what Star Trek?
Nemesis.
Yes.
Yeah. Where he plays like the clone of Jean-Luc. Yeah.
Yes, and he's every role he's in, he puts everything that he is into that role. Yeah. When he played the fighter in Warriors, where he had to fight was it Warriors?
Yeah, it was Warrior.
Where he had to fight his brother. Warrior.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, I love that movie. That fucking Gavin O'Connor.
A Jersey boy. I mean, he had the accent down. He acted like a big dummy. He was perfect in that role. Every role that he does, he's a different character. Yeah, he's just phenomenal, and that is the sign of a true actor. And a lot of people are going to hate me for saying that, for saying this. On the other side, you've got actors like, oh shoot, what is his name? I spaced on his name.
Sir Ben Kingsley.
Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner,
I think is a fine actor, but he plays the same character in every single movie. You know, he's gotten great breaks and great roles, but he never really stretches beyond who he is.
Have you seen him in Wyatt Earp?
Yes, he's fine in that, dude. He started in Dances. I mean, his big movie that got him huge was Dances with Wolves. So he's great at westerns, and he's great in Wyatt Earp, but he's stretching. You know, every role you see him, he's playing Kevin Costner.
Hey man, I loved him in Silverado though, man.
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. He was Kevin.
Oh, Costner, dude, I love that. I loved him in that, man.
It's a great film, and I'm not saying that it's a bad movie. I like it. I know. Like his roles fine, but as an actor, he doesn't stretch, but he doesn't have to. People don't expect him to.
Well, he doesn't bring it to like a next level.
A guy like, and God rest his soul, Robin Williams. That guy could move you to cry just by telling you a sad story. Now that guy could act.
Yeah, well, that's like Moscow on the Hudson. Like I like that movie that Robin Williams did. 1 Hour Photo, that was real fucking creepy. Insomnia was fucking nuts as shit.
Yeah.
That was Christopher Nolan.
What was the movie he played? The homeless guy that thought he was a knight.
Fuck. Yeah, I had Jeff Bridges. The Fisher King. The Fisher King. Yeah, The Fisher King. Yes. That was good. Yeah.
My God, such a good movie.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, because he's like a schizophrenic.
And he roles like Mrs. Doubtfire and Patch Adams and Good Morning
Patch Adams is good, man. I actually like that.
Different character in every movie. You know, he was phenomenal. And look at it in Aladdin when he was
the genie. Yeah,
I mean, he was just amazing. That's a great actor, and I think that when we're comparing someone like Tom Hardy to Mr. Glover, you're comparing almost Robin Williams to Kevin Costner. Two different levels of acting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like I like Kevin Costner too, but yeah, I see where you're going with it, man. Because I
mean he does great films. I love.
No, yeah, he does.
It was awesome. Waterworld was great.
Yeah, I actually like. Yeah, a lot of people gave Waterworld shit. I actually like that.
It bombed. It was the most expensive movie at the time that it came out that was ever made, and it tanked in the theaters. But I loved it.
It was good, man. But no, yeah, I see where you're going. Yeah, and that's the thing. The problem is, man, is that I would like to see them do well. Had they not, number one, had they not rushed Solo. Two, had they not changed directors at the last fucking minute, because they had Lord Miller, that was from the Lego movie. You know, if they had Ron Howard from the fucking beginning, I think they would have stayed on budget, because I think the budget exploded to 250, where the budget was like a reasonable $85 to $100 million, same as Venom, right?
And Ron Howard is a fine director. He's one of the best directors of our time.
Yeah,
and he couldn't even, in my opinion, save that movie, and that's a shame.
Yeah, and like if we had them from the beginning, I think that, but it also comes down to two: do people want this movie, right? Is it a necessary? Where do we want to see the Han Solo story? Right.
Yeah, I think they needed to ask themselves that. And then there were the rumors of, we're going to do an Obi-Wan.
Well, I would have rather seen that than fucking Solo.
I personally would rather see. I don't really want to see an Obi-Wan movie, because we've seen enough of Obi-Wan from the prequels. I would love to see a Fett movie.
Oh, really? Well,
I love that character.
Yeah.
What's that?
Well, see, I was going to say they're doing the Mandalorian, which it's not a Fett, but it's going to be on the Disney streaming service, and Jon Favreau is directing one episode. Taika Waititi
is excellent. He's so good.
Yeah, man. I mean,
he's a good actor too. I like it.
Yeah, I loved him in fucking Swingers and Maid. And everything, even as Happy Hogan. The Jungle Book that he did, the remake
Daredevil.
of the Jungle Book, I thought that was like really great.
The Affleck Daredevil, he was great as Foggy Nelson.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I
love
actually
that
enjoy.
dude.
Yeah, yeah, I love like the director's cut because you see a little bit more of him. And him and Karen
Yeah,
Page are actually
the
like
whole
together.
story with Coolio and what was going on with him, and him defending him in court. And I love the director's cut. I thought it was great.
Yeah, because you see a lot more like Matt Murdock, being a lawyer and shit.
Yeah.
And I actually
and you
like
understand why he is like he is, and
and you
what
don't
kind of person he is.
And also too in the director's cut, you don't have like the love scene where it's like the motherfucker hears the sirens and he's like, "Hey, I gotta go," So it's like, so he sacrifices his love, for Elektra to, go beat the streets. It's like, yeah, that's cool, man. I mean, because, but it's like rumored that Pedro Pascal, the Red Viper, Oberyn Martell from Game of Thrones, is going to be the lead in the Mandalorian. And
really?
Yeah, well, it's said, but that's a rumor though, and it's nothing. But his people are denying it, and apparently, when people deny it in Hollywood, doesn't mean that it's a no.
Yeah,
it just means that technically the ink's still wet. It's like, or the ink hasn't been printed yet. It's like they're in talks basically. But
I'm really excited. Speaking of streaming services, of which there are going to be a million of them soon, and you might as well have a cable bill. I'm really excited about The Boys coming out for Amazon Prime.
Yeah, that's like because that's like,
I love the comic book. It's such a phenomenal storyline. It's doing what he does best, hating on superheroes.
Yeah,
but
that's like we talked about it. Yeah, like I like it because Carl Urban is Billy the Butcher. I like they came out with a series. Was it Butcher Baker Candlestick Maker? And it was like a 6-issue miniseries. It's before Billy the Butcher got with the boys. It's like from him being a little kid. I thought it was phenomenal. I loved it actually.
Prequel,
how he was a Marine and part of the Falkland Islands incident over there in the UK.
And when he met Mother's Milk, and it's just.
And he met his wife and stuff like that. Yeah, it was a fucking great book, man. Derek Robertson.
Ennis is a great writer, man. He's phenomenal when he's on.
Yeah,
I loved Crossed, which was probably one of the most disturbing comics.
Yeah, see, I read it a little bit, dude, and then I was just like, this is not for me, just.
Oh, it's great. It's a rage virus, basically the crazies with a lot more nudity.
Mm-hmm.
Great storyline. His Punisher is phenomenal.
Okay, yeah. His Punisher is like the shit, man.
He's a great writer. He tells a good, gritty tale. I'd love to see him do like a noir story, like a noir detective story.
Yeah,
I think that he would be phenomenal at that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would like.
He tells really good war stories.
Well, see, like even if he did something for like Netflix, man, like if him and Netflix like teamed up. Like to do like one of his books, or just like something original, where he's like a writer on, and get like different directors and stuff. I mean, that would be like really cool.
He does these World War II stories, which are phenomenal. I could see them taking some of those stories and doing like you said, a 10-issue mini series based on the war stories he's written. He's just really good.
Yeah, like
really good at what he.
I liked his Punisher Born, like that, where it was like Frank in Vietnam and stuff, and I love that one, man. That was like I was like shit, because I read that before.
He is so good at capturing the feeling of combat.
Yeah.
Because
I read
printed in page. He's just incredible.
I read Punisher Born because like I just signed up in the Army and in the infantry. And like this is like when the war kicked off.
Baby.
Hell yeah! Ooh, 11 bang bang, as the
bullet catcher,
as the Pogues like to call us, huh? But 11 Bravo, live. All right, but yeah. So like I read that and it just kind of got me. Like motherfuckers be watching some fucking Full Metal Jacket to get all hyped up and shit. I was reading that, or like Black Hawk Down and shit. I was like, hell no, man. I read some Punisher Born. I was like, damn. I know it's like Vietnam and shit, but it's like, you know, I was getting pumped, man. And it's like, all right, you know.
Well, you know what made me go into the infantry?
What's that? Blue's Clues.
Platoon had come out.
Oh yeah, that's a good movie, man.
And I watched that movie. I was dating a girl at the time that worked at a movie theater, so she got me in for free.
Oh, cool,
and I
man.
watched that movie, I swear to you, 10, 15 times in the theater. And I was like, I'm joining the Army. And off I went.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, well, Platoon's a great movie.
I didn't have a place to stay.
Oh, well, yeah, that does happen too. That can't motivate one to be like, all right, yeah, hey, 3 hots on a cot, all right.
Yeah, 3 hots on a cot, I'm there.
It's like, you know, fucking warm meal and a hot meal and warm blanket. Oh shit, you know, that's awesome.
I'm in.
But
all right, man, I'm gonna have to wrap this up for tonight.
All right, brother.
I did want to do a little shameless self promotion. I showed you this earlier.
Yeah, man.
This is my friend Stephen J. Simone's documentary about independent writing. I am in this. If anyone's interested, you can watch it right now for free on Amazon Prime, or go to Bill Dope Productions to pick up a copy of it. This was filmed 2 years ago. The parts of it with me in it, and I am super fat. So if you want to see me looking like Jabba the Hutt, pick this up.
Oh, man.
Make fun of me as much as you can, because I'm not fat anymore, so suck it.
That's right.
But this is a great documentary if you want to watch and learn about what it takes to be an independent author, and you know, and the struggle and the grind, and what a pain in the ass it is sometimes, and a pleasure sometimes to put out our own works and to self-publish and do the work and do the grind. It's absolutely a must-see if you want to go that way. So check it out. And that's all I got.
All right, brother. I guess we're gonna close it down now. Everybody, thank you so much for
on Facebook. Just so you guys know, if anyone is in the Tri-Cities area, I will be on October 27th at Halloween Comic Fest at Mountain Empire Comics, signing and selling Tripping Over Reality, Death and Origin of a Hero, and Tripping Over Reality 2, A Blaze of Glory. I'll be there all day talking about comics, talking about what me and Greg are doing. Hopefully Greg can come out there and hang out with me at the table and talk to you guys too. And
heck yeah, man.
We'll make a party of it, man. We'll have candy.
That's right.
We'll have candy there. If you want candy, it'll be great. It'll be great.
You know, we may even have some cocktails. You never know. You know what I'm saying?
Bring some cocktails out. Yeah, we'll get drunk there. Why not?
Exactly. We'll raise some cane. Jesus, you know, we'll get kicked out even before the party starts. What's up?
So it wouldn't be the first time I've been drunk at an appearance.
There you go. I'll be popping my cherry. Shit. All right, brother. Hey, man.
I had a great time again. We need to do this again, man. We need to absolutely keep this rolling. I'm having a good time doing it, and I'm hoping you're having fun. You know, just sitting with me. And
hey, man,
it's a good time.
This is good times, man. Of course, man. Always, bro. All right, brother. God bless, man. Take care, and everyone.
See y'all later. God bless you.
See you later. Good night, and aloha.
Aloha.